All right, Phoenix Suns. I think we should start this episode off with some Phoenix Suns talk.
They've been on my mind.
I bet 12-game winning streak. They're still technically, the reigning Western Conference champions. So,
Play like it.
Yeah. So let me ask something. Do you think the Phoenix Suns can repeat as Western Conference champions?
This is the best year for any team in the West to probably go to the finals. Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns. Because right now, it's looking iffy. Like, you look at Jamal Murray's out. Then we got news that Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to be out for the rest of the year as well. We know Portland's not going to do anything. Clippers missing Kawhi. It's just kind of like, this is a year, like, you never know. The Lakers, who knows what's going to happen with them. I think the Lakers, of course, I picked them to go to the finals. I think once the season really gets rolling, they're going to be a tough outing in the playoffs. But, of course, I think it's definitely possible. I think you look at the Suns lineup. Like, they return all the same guys. Like, they got chemistry. Definitely.
Hey, them boys hooping. 12 games is a lot of games to win in a row. Back to back. And it was funny. I feel like not that many people are talking about it. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, literally I don't know why, actually. I mean, maybe it's because they're in Phoenix or whatever, but, like, this is a team that literally just just went to the finals and now won 12 games in a row, and it's not nearly as talked about as you might think.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. We talked about it earlier because I was saying, like, we were did our prediction and stuff. We both said, like, I was like, yo, I think the Suns are going to still be a top seed this year. And so far, they're going to be battling for that 1 or 2 seed, and they need it because I think if you can position yourself to not have to face like a team like a Lakers, who is most people's favorites. If you can position yourself to play them like maybe in the Western Conference Finals instead of like the first or second round, you're doing something for yourself. Because the Lakers, trust me, the Lakers ain't gonna be the 7th seed or anything like that. They're gonna be like,
hey man,
top
I'm
4,
really
of course.
So, bro. I'm really hoping so.
Top 4.
I'm really hoping so because the thing is, like, we keep saying that, and I believe it. Like, they're not gonna be 7th seed. They're not gonna be 7th seed. And
nah.
All right. When eventually is it like set that, like, all right, yeah, they're not going to be.
When is it panic time?
Oh, I would say panic.
We haven't even reached Christmas.
Time, I don't think there'll ever be a panic time. At the end of the day, if you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the same team in the playoffs, I'm not going to panic. But at the same time, I don't think that anyone should have an on and off switch when it comes to playing in the playoffs, right? Even though as talented as you might be on paper, at some point, the chemistry and the wins have to be there. Now, again, I'm not pressing the panic button on the Lakers, but, like, at the same time, I can't always agree with the whole idea of, like, oh, they'll be fine, they'll be all right. Because even though that might be true, they still have to go out and prove it. Like, it can't, because we learned that last year, right? And even though LeBron was injured and the Lakers still had injury problems.
Anthony Davis got hurt.
Right. Yeah, there was definitely injury problem, but still, like, you should be playing well going into the playoffs. It's not just an on and off switch,
Yeah, but luckily, this is like, there's still, the first month of the season just passed. It's basically been a week.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's kind of like, it ain't 9-9. The Bucks are 8-9. They just won the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could talk to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. What are they? They're like 6 and something. That's what I'm saying. It's just like a lot of teams are starting off slow. I'm not worried at all about the Lakers because you have to develop chemistry. And what perfect way to develop chemistry is develop chemistry through the regular season. So it's just kind of like it has to happen. And then if you look at their roster, we already talked about when they first acquired Russell Westbrook. It's just like it was going to take some time to figure out because naturally those aren't the best pieces kind of like to work together. LeBron's a ball dominant guard. Russell Westbrook's a ball dominant guard. Russell Westbrook isn't like this great 3-point shooter. And it's just kind of like he needs shooters. LeBron needs shooters. But it's just kind of like we've seen these lineups with Vogel. We see what he's been putting out. It's just kind of like it doesn't make sense. Starting 2 centers. It's a whole lot of stuff, but I don't really think it's like I'm necessarily worried because I feel like when it's money time, when it really gets time to like go and show, okay, let's turn this thing up. I think they're gonna pull out that lineup with Melo starting, with LeBron starting, with AD starting, with Russ at the 1, and whoever's hot shooting that pill at the 2. And I think because when you do that, you got shooters in the corners, Monk, Melo. You got Russ, LeBron, AD, and they can play like this triangle within each other, pick and roll. They can all pick and roll, get to the basket, cut. It can get scary real quick. So I'm not really. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really worried, man. It's still early.
I don't think I'll ever be worried or even panicking, but I just question, all right, when will it not be too early? Like, is there a deadline? Like, if we in mid-February, if we reaching the All-Star break and we're still 7th seed, will it still be too early then? So I think there should be some sort of cutoff. Because even we were said this previous episodes when it was like 4 games in, or the Knicks had some big win, and we were saying like it's still early. But how often? Like, what is the cutoff for? Like, all right, it's not early no more. We should be playing better. We need to be, here, because there has to be some sort of improvement, right? Early or not, chemistry or not, whatever. There has to be somewhere where it's like, all right, we're better than where we were a week ago, right? We might not be where we want to be, but hey, we getting there.
I mean, what are the Lakers? The Lakers they're 9-9, right? So I'm looking at this. They're 9-9. They're the 8th seed right now. They're one game. They're one game out of being in the 4th seed. Just to put things in perspective, the Clippers are 10-7. You know what I'm saying? That's what
and it's usually like that in the beginning of the season, right? Because there aren't that many games being played. That's why I said, like, I'm not worried. But again, it goes back to previous episodes where we talk about having high expectations for players. I also have high expectations for teams. So if I think that you can be playing better, I'm going to mention that and say that. But I think that's another reason why you mentioned the chemistry, and they're still trying to work that out with the Lakers. With the Suns, the fact that they have that chemistry, right? And as a unit, making the finals and still bringing that team back to possibly repeating and maybe even winning the whole thing. So chemistry definitely plays a huge factor in all this. Because, man, I'm telling you, 12 in a row, that's like some teams can't even win half that in a row. You know what I'm saying? So to win 12 in a row is definitely something special.
Yeah, definitely something special. And just to piggyback on what you said about like kind of worry, the only thing that I will say that it makes me a little nervous with the Los Angeles Lakers that some of the teams y'all supposed to be blowing out, it's kind of close. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like Detroit Pistons, OKC Thunder, and then I go watch the Golden State Warriors. They kicking their asses. You know what I'm saying? I watch the Utah Jazz. They kicking their asses. The Phoenix Suns, they kicking their asses. Like, if it's dog fights with these teams that are like competing for the lottery, trying to lose, that's when I would say it's kind of like, that's my only tiny little bit of like worried and kind of like a red flag when I see things like that. Because I'm watching Detroit game, they was down. Everybody talk about the comeback and stuff, but they was down like 19 points. I'm like, yo, all right now. Like, what's going on? Like,
but I think that's the thing with this roster, right? When you look at the guys on the team, they're all veterans. They all have experience. I think they know that this is all a marathon, right? That this is the bigger picture is to win a championship. So I'm not saying they're half-assing it, but I guarantee you if they had to choose this route that they're taking now and then winning the whole thing and being well rested and all that versus, starting off, 13-2 or whatever and then losing in the first round, it ain't going to matter. But I'm going to tell you this, though. It's going to be even worse if they continue to play like, 500 basketball or right above 500 basketball and then get kicked out the first or second or even third round. Like, we all know, like, whether the Lakers are the 7th or 8th seed, that ain't really no 7th or 8th seed, if you get what I'm saying. Like, so it's going to – it definitely takes time. Like, even when the Rush trade happened, hell, even the AD trade happened years ago, I never thought it was going to be like a simple, all right, just because they're talented means it's automatically going to work immediately. I know it's going to take time, but there also has to be a question mark of when that's going to happen. So – but, we'll see.
I mean, that is true because you can say that and then, like, we talk about time and chemistry. Look at the Bulls. The Bulls are here. They're a legit contender. You know what I'm saying? And they all new pieces. People was wondering, like, how's DeMar and Zach LaVine going to work well together? Well, because Zach LaVine can play off the ball. He can shoot the three. He can come off screens. He can come off pin down. So it's just kind of like, naturally, yes, Zach LaVine wants the ball in his hands, and DeMar DeRozan needs the ball in his hands. But when you got a guy that can play off the ball as well as Zach LaVine and also is a pure scorer like Zach LaVine, it was a more natural fit than people was worried about. So who knows? I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. And then another team, though, that people have been like talking about, and I'm just like, damn, it's been a lot of like James Harden slander, Nets slander. Look at the stand; they the best team in the East right now.
Bro, I literally told you, bro.
It's crazy.
They could go 82-0, and people would say shit about them not winning every game by double digits.
They've been saying, I've been hearing people saying, like, they're not a championship contender. They're not getting to the championship without Kyrie Irving. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I look at they records and they stand, and I'm like, well, they 12-5. Regardless of how, and James Harden's playing inconsistent. James
he
Harden,
getting there though. He getting there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's playing.
It's
It's slowly but surely he's starting to round into form. So it's just kind of like that's what I'm saying. It's just like let's pump the brakes. So let's not get caught up in this early hype like the Washington Wizards. You saw they're starting to tone it down. That's what I'm saying. Like let's not get too crazy on these top tier teams that we really expect to really be here when it comes crunch time.
Yeah, you mentioned James Harden. I can't wait for the cap or no cap. I got one that might irritate you a little bit, but we have to ask these types of questions. We have responsibility. But yeah, I mean, I think people tend to be prisoners of the moment, right? Yeah. And allow a couple of bad games to really, make them feel some type of way about the team or a player as a whole, but forgetting what they've done their entire career. Like players and teams go through rough stretches, but you understand, like, all right, eventually they're not going to be this way for an entire season. Like you mentioned James Harden. James Harden was not going to be playing like that during the entire season. It was only a matter of time before, he gets back to normal, starts playing well, and all the noise is just going to change.
Even the Milwaukee Bucks, and nobody's really talking about them because it's just like they're not really highlighted in the media. Same with the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns, they won 12 games in a row. Nobody's really talking about it because we know that like the media circuit, it revolves around the same 4 or 5 teams, just like it revolves around the same 4 or 5 players. So that's why we're here about the Warriors, the Nets, the Lakers 24/7, like the Bucks. I'm not worried about Giannis. The Bucks could be what is it? They're 9-8 right now. They could have been like 5-13. I'll also be like this. I'm still not worried because they had injuries and stuff like that, and we know like this team has done it. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody just needs to pump the brakes, slow it down a little bit.
I mean, I think too it's all about getting into the playoffs. Again, like I mentioned before, how chemistry is important and you want to be playing well once you reach the playoffs. But like, if Giannis, especially in the Eastern Conference, if Giannis is playing in a playoff series, I don't care what seed you are. I like your chances to at least win a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how bad the team is playing, like you still have one of the best players in our league. So like, let's relax a little bit. And that's the same case with the Lakers, same case with the Nets, and certain teams. And as we're saying, it's still November. We haven't even reached Thanksgiving yet. Like, let's.
Yeah, but certain teams do look like they're here. Like the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, okay.
And Chicago, the Warriors and Chicago Bulls. Like, I didn't think the Warriors were going to be this good. And the Chicago Bulls, I was kind of like, I thought it was going to go one or two ways. I think they were going to be like kind of like in that mid-tier, or I thought they would be really, really good and kind of be like the Phoenix Suns of the Eastern Conference. Right now, they're looking like the Phoenix Suns of the Eastern Conference when we talk about like, you get one player, you get a young superstar talent, some help, and then you're going to see how good he is. Like, that's what happened with Devin Booker. Same thing happened with Zach LaVine. You got Zach LaVine some help. Now, it's a legit argument can be made that Zach LaVine is possibly a top 10 player in the league right now. Top 10 to top 12 player in the league right now. And that's just a fact.
Okay.
That's just a fact. So it's just kind of like, that's what happens for all the people for years. He's not a winning player. It's crazy because I remember arguing with people. I was like, you put Zach, you swap Zach on the Sixers, that's a title contender. They laughed at my face, They laughed at my face.
You saying swap Zach with Ben Simmons?
Yeah, I said it before, like all this stuff happened with Ben Simmons. I was like, you take Zach LaVine, you put him on the Philadelphia Sixers. I was like, they're a title contender. Because it's just certain guys that when it comes like to the playoffs, we see it in the regular season. Like the playoffs don't really mean nothing. Just the game slows down a little bit. Like if you got talent, if you can put the ball in a half court setting in the regular season, you're gonna be able to translate that to the playoffs.
Yeah, but I say it's still the same thing. Like certain adjustments and certain tweaks happen, but like, all right,
of course,
score,
defense, defensive
score.
pressure and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's just like, certain players, the eye test. If you watch the game, like certain players just have it. Like Devin Booker. That's why I was never worried about. Everybody was like, it was one network that had a question: is Devin Booker even good?
That's wild.
Is
he even good? Is nuts. That bothers me. Is Devin Booker even really good? That bothers me. What are we doing?
Empty stats. Like it's empty stats. Like is he a stat chaser on a bad team? It's just kind of like.
But you know what, man? That's like
crazy.
The Devin Booker and the Trae Young. They both kind of had that in common.
Zach LaVine too. Even Bradley Beal to a certain degree, but we saw Bradley Beal with John Wall early on in the playoffs have success. Not as much as those guys, though, of course.
I think maybe it's because they were young, Trae Young and Book. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, Bradley was, I don't know. I've been hearing some things, bro, in terms of just.
It's crazy.
Honestly, whatever. All right, I'm just going to change my cap or no cap because I want to talk about this right now. All right. So I'll change my cap or no cap. I don't want to wait no more. All right, so I've been approached about two things, right? And they're both kind of related to shooting guards, and I want to bring this on this episode, right? So two things. One, someone told me that does Khris Middleton have a legitimate case to be made that he is the best shooting guard in the National Basketball Association? That's one. Number two, the argument between these three players, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, and Jimmy Butler. So let's tackle the first one first. Yeah. And man, I'll tell you, like, I really wanted to wait for this last to be the cap or no cap, but I think these were such strong questions and opinions that we have to address this early on. So number one, do you think Khris Middleton has a case to be made that he's the best shooting guard in the NBA?
Man. Best shooting guard? There's too many guys that are more athletically gifted than Khris Middleton and also can do what he does well at the same time. So I look at Zach LaVine. To me, he's a super hooper, super athletic, has a pureness to his game. Khris Middleton's game is very pure, can score at all levels. Jump shot is beautiful, but athletically, like getting to the rim and slashing ability, he's not really there. Even if you look at guys like Anthony Edwards, now I'm not saying I would take Anthony Edwards over Khris Middleton as of right now, but at the same time, it's kind of like them skill sets that they have, like Zach LaVine and Anthony Edwards, they really, really matter when it comes to like when you want to say, oh, is this guy better than somebody? Because I look at it this way. Are you building your team? Would you rather build your team around Khris Middleton or Zach LaVine as the first option? That's the real true question. If Khris Middleton is truly better than some of these guys and better and can have that case of being the best shooting guard in the league, that's the question we got to ask. Could you build a team around Khris Middleton being the number one option and have success? And that answer is no. So I definitely don't think he has a case to being the best shooting guard in the league.
It's funny too, like whenever someone asks me a question based off ranking, like there's like when you ask a question, right, it is either asking me to rank or appreciate. So someone would be like, yo, I think, Khris Middleton is one of the most underrated players in the league. That's appreciation. That's like, all right, cool. I agree. People ain't showing him enough love. But when you're saying that I think he's one of the best, now you're asking me to rank. Now you're asking me to bring in other players into the conversation. So
Bradley Beal.
So I'm
saying Jimmy
Bradley
Butler.
Beal, Donovan Mitchell, Jimmy Butler, like Devin Booker. Like there's guys that. So how about this? Do you feel that the Bucks would have won the championship had they replaced Khris Middleton with some other shooting guard? Like if it was some other shooting guard in that position outside of Khris. That's a different question, by the way.
And that's when things get tricky because like certain players are just a perfect player to their counterparts. Khris Middleton is a perfect player for Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can close. He's one of the best closers in the NBA. It's a fact. We saw it in the playoffs. We seen it in the regular season. He's one of the best closers in the NBA. But also like, okay, you can ask that question, but like, let's not forget about the other side of the ball. I always talk about offense, but defense matters in the playoffs. Like Khris Middleton can lock up. He can guard the perimeter. So it's just like if you swap Khris Middleton, let's say like, okay, we're gonna put a Zach LaVine. I don't know, because even though I think Zach LaVine's a better basketball player than Khris Middleton, when we like break things down to a T, from a team standpoint, I view Zach as kind of being his number one guy. I don't view Khris Middleton being his number one guy, but it's just kind of like I view Khris Middleton being easier to kind of like just fit in and do everything that needs to be done on a championship caliber team when it comes to like playing not just offense but defense as well. So that's a challenge. That's a challenging.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said too.
Question.
To be clear, like those are two different questions, right? Like who's better, and if you replace them, would they win? In the same type of fashion? Because I mean, like you said, defensively, Khris is there, right? Like Khris is there.
Jimmy
Drew
Butler's
is there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just meant on the Bucks. Yeah, Jimmy Butler is there defensively. Like they're
those
there.
things matter.
those things are definitely, because, a lot of people like to look at just one side of the ball. Putting the ball in the hoop is definitely important, but, you got to play both, especially if you're trying to win a championship. Yeah. Right, like there's a lot that kind of goes into it.
It's a lot of different layers because like we look at like Steph Curry and we look at Donovan Mitchell. Scoring the basketball is the number one aspect when it comes to basketball. You have to be able to put the ball in the hoop is what matters the most. Everybody talks about like, oh, like he's just a great scorer. Great scorer normally means the best players. Like people love to talk about like, oh, Kobe Bryant was just one of the greatest scorer. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Kevin Durant, he's just one of the greatest scorers. No, he's one of the greatest players of all time. LeBron James, he does it all around. He does everything, but LeBron James is still top 3 all time in scoring. Like scoring, Michael Jordan, scoring is like most of the times these guys' best attribute. So that's a
for
conversation
sure.
for a different day.
And also too, I mean, we're in a league where there's a lot of good twos, right? There's a lot of good, shooting guards. Again, we mentioned a couple of them, but I mean, it's just tough, finding that guy that can be the number one option, as you said, on a championship team. And it's not easy too. Like, it's you're talking about winning a title, so it's like, that's not something that every player can do regardless of position. And so, but I mean, I'll say this, Khris definitely played his role well, right? Like give flowers, when
they don't win a championship without Khris.
Well. Absolutely.
Closing out games and stuff like that. Like it was Khris Middleton going head-to-head to KD with KD at times in that Brooklyn series and guarding him as well. So it's just kind of like I said, offensively he's there and defensively he's there. That's what I'm saying. People say like you swap him, it's like you swap somebody that's going to be able to do what he can do on the offense. That's a little bit more easier. But like, what about defense as well? Because if you take that away, now you only got two guards that's guarding Kevin Durant. You got Drew Holiday, you got PJ Tucker during that series, not Khris Middleton as well. That's a body that you're losing. But the one would say, well, you gaining more offense. So it's just kind of like it's pick your poison in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely pick your poison.
But no, not the best shooting guard. And again, he doesn't have a case for that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I think Khris doesn't have for him going, unfortunately, is like his game isn't as flashy as other guys, right? He's not gonna like dunk on anyone crazy. Like he's probably not gonna have like 12 threes in a game or whatever. Like, but he does his job and he does his job well. But there's just other guys that you might choose.
Yep. Certain guys on championship caliber teams are just better, low maintenance second stars. Like
and that's okay. And that is like a-okay. Because also too, there's some guys who are number one options, but if they were the second option, wouldn't be playing as well. Right? Like there are some guys that need to be a number one option. Like it ain't even just vice versa. Mm-hmm. But there are some guys who would not fit well being a number two option.
Some guys
it don't always work.
Some guys have to be the engine. That's kind of how I feel Brandon Ingram's problem. It's just like he's not a number two to me. It's just like mentality. He's really a number one. So like the whole Zion period is just kind of like people are like, oh, like Zion's the best player on the team. It's like, yeah, but like the best scoring and number one option scoring wise and running your offense should be Brandon Ingram. It's like the Paul George and the Kawhi Leonard situation. Kawhi Leonard is the best player on the Los Angeles Clippers, but scoring wise and rhythm wise, and being the number one option scoring wise, who you want to get the first look to, you might kind of want to run your offense through Paul George because this game is predicated on scoring, and this game is also more smooth and more polished and pure than Kawhi. So it's just kind of like those are things, and that's why it's so hard to build teams and win championships because there's so many layers that you got to peel off when we talk about these things.
Well, fortunately for the Pelicans, both those guys are still young, B.I. and Zion.
The Pelicans are done.
They got little injury problems, so
they're done. They're done. Kings are done too. Like we had Luke. Yeah, we said it. We had a podcast. He was like, "Oh, not good." We know it was coming, but it's just kind of like they're just a terrible organization. What is that? Like their third coach they fired over the last 7 years or something? Like it's just a poverty franchise. Like,
damn, bro, another poverty franchise. Well, at least I would say with your poverty franchise is you don't just have one. You don't just talk shit about one franchise. You spread it around with.
Spread it around. It's just horrible. Like, just horrible. Like you get a guy like De'Aaron Fox. He's just out there. He's just out there exercising. It's a lot of guys in the league just exercising right now.
Look, De'Aaron. just so much thoughts going on in my head just in terms of the air. Like he's in one of those situations. He's one of those players where it's like he's talented. You want him to do well, but you also want him to get the hell out because you know that if he stays for too long. Now, fortunately, De'Aaron is still young, very young.
Yeah,
but like it's like, all right, man, you don't want to end up being at a place for 12, 13, 14 years.
Talk about it.
Like shit, man. Where did the time go? But hey, maybe Sacramento could turn around, get a new head coach, all that. But they're heading in a different direction.
Yeah,
I'll use that. I mean,
let's get to the second. The second
part.
Oh
yeah.
The second part.
The second question. Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, or Jimmy Butler. Now, let me say this. Here's where the arguments that were presented to me, right? And so so this was two like separate instances, right? I was with a group of people. They were arguing between Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler, and then someone else presented me like, yo, you should talk about Devin Booker versus Zach LaVine. So the hell with it. We're going to talk about all three. Devin Booker's scoring ability, right? Jimmy Butler's defensive ability, and even Zach LaVine's scoring ability. So of those three, if you don't mind, put them in order of how you feel about these three players, I'll say.
I saw Devin Booker have back-to-back 40-point games in the finals.
Wait.
Go
ahead.
I seen Jimmy Butler almost average a triple-double in the NBA finals. I've yet to see Zach LaVine in the playoffs. Zach's my guy. So he's going to be last off of that alone because he hasn't played in the finals. So it's just kind of or the playoffs. So talent-wise, skill for skill-wise, Zach is more talented than those two players. Athletically.
You think Zach more talented than Book? I mean, athletically, there's no question. I'm not going to debate that. But
that matters. Like, athletically, like, in pureness, like, Book is more skilled. If you break things down, footwork and stuff like that, understanding the pointillist details on the basketball court when it comes to getting to your spots, Book is more skilled than Zach. But Zach is more talented because, like, he's still skilled, and he can still boogie. At the first level, he's a monster, but he can still dominate and score as a pureness to his game at the second and third level on the basketball court. So he's the most talented out of the group when we talk about Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, and Jimmy Butler. He's the more talented, but like I said, this we got to start talking about. I've seen Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler do it at the highest level. So Zach LaVine would be last, and then I'll probably go Jimmy Butler first, and then Devin Booker second.
Why Jimmy won?
Because Jimmy got a dog in him. Like Jimmy he one of those guys is just like he's gonna do everything. He's gonna lay it out on the basketball court. He's gonna play hard. I think leadership as well. He's more of a natural leader, especially maybe not them times in Minnesota, but like in Miami, like he's known as a leader down there. And he can do a little bit more when it comes to like rebounding, passing ability, and also defending. You probably got to get an edge to Jimmy Butler in the additional categories besides scoring. So that's why I got Jimmy Butler number one.
I'm going with Devin Booker at one.
Okay.
I'm going. This man scored 70 points in one game, and I know we don't. You're not about to use a 40-minute ball game to dictate, right? And I mean, obviously, I saw what Jimmy did in the finals, They should have even been in that finals, by the way. Talking about the Miami Heat, like on paper and just like before the season, did you really think they could make it? They should have even been there. So definitely shout out and kudos to them. But I'm still picking the Phoenix Suns. I mean, Devin Booker. I would say Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, and Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, similar reasons why you said too, the playoffs and the other two guys making the finals, let alone the playoffs. But then also too what those other two players did in the finals, Devin Booker and Jimmy Butler. So
yeah,
I think it's going to take a little bit more winning from Zach for me to really say that he can be above them. But the gap isn't crazy. The gap isn't like, all right, well, I'm definitely taking Booker or I'm definitely taking Jimmy. Zach is still, a very, very talented hooper. But if I had to choose or put him in that order, I would say Book, Jimmy, and then Zach. But the thing is, though, with defensively, this is where it really got tricky. It's like, are you picking Devin Booker's defense over Jimmy Butler's offense? Because the way I see it, Devin Booker is a phenomenal scorer, right? But who's a better defender? And who do you feel could get it done and lead the way for an entire team, an entire unit defensively.
Jimmy Butler.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of winning an entire series and winning an entire game. Obviously, we saw what Book did in the finals, giving 40 pieces. But I think people's biggest debate on Jimmy's side will obviously be the defensive end. But
he's not. It's like you watched his game. Like, he's not defending. He's still a high level defender, but he's not defending like he used to in the past. Even watching Kawhi Leonard, like Kawhi's still a great defender, but he's not defending at the level that he used to in the past. Like probably that for Kawhi is more so like injuries and also like more responsibility scoring wise, which is why he wanted to get out of San Antonio. He kind of wanted to, have a more like offense where he can like produce. You know how it is in San Antonio, that team friendly offense and stuff. And so yeah, when you say that with Jimmy Butler, it's kind of like that's what I said.
You know what's funny though? You know who mentioned that? Sean Marion. And when we were talking about like two-way players, he mentioned Kawhi and PG. I mentioned Jimmy Butler, and I think he was like, I don't know. That's crazy to think, but I mean, I still think he is though. I still think
no. He can still lock down. I remember Sean saying that, but that's Sean's opinion. It ain't my opinion. Because Jimmy,
I think
Jimmy can still lock.
I think it matters. Like
LeBron. LeBron at his age is like, I've seen LeBron even last year look like a high level defender at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it matters, I think these guys are gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? They not gonna run away from a matchup. But also, I think Jimmy Butler, what's gonna benefit him, he's down with Miami. Miami historically has always had a great defensive team concept. He got Bam next to him. He got that boy PJ Tucker next to him. He got Kyle Lowry next to him. You know what I'm saying? They gonna turn some teams up. I mean, defensively, playoffs.
Book has Michael and Michael Bridges and Jay Crowder. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what you need though.
And Chris Paul.
So your argument could have been like, he may not have to play defense. That's the best argument. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not accepting that.
No, because that's what it. You got some. I say this all the time. There's some guys in this league, like, people love to throw the defense argument of why somebody is better or not better than somebody else. And sometimes it matters, but sometimes it doesn't matter, because sometimes it don't matter if Luka Doncic plays defense. It don't matter. It don't matter if Trae Young plays defense, because sometimes you got guys that are just so giftedly offensively that you can hide them, that you can cover them, that you can do whatever the hell you need to do, because they're so talented offensively that their offense is so at this Hall of Fame level that, they may not play defense. It don't really matter. It's only a few of these guys, but that's just the case. Steph and Curry don't need to play defense.
Okay, and I knew you were going to say that but let me stop right there. I would say it depends on who else is on your roster.
That helps. Yeah, that's part of it, though.
Steph Curry playing with Klay Thompson has helped his career out tremendously. Yeah. Tremendously. Right? But Trae doesn't have a Klay Thompson, or Luka doesn't have a Klay Thompson. So to say that they don't have to play defense, well, I mean, if that's the case, nobody has to do anything if you're not winning. So my thing is, if you're going to say that, I feel it's more of like,
they ain't losing.
They're not winning either. Steph Curry is winning.
Yeah, Steph Curry is winning because of the team aspect. But
that's what I'm saying, though.
It's not like Trae and... Go ahead, Liz.
Steph Curry doesn't have to play defense, but he is still winning. Right now, the other guys that you mentioned, in order for them to win, they're going to have to play defense. They don't have Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, two great defensive players like that. They didn't have Andre Iguodala or Kevin Durant, like guys that can defend at a high level. So I hear what you're saying. When you're that talented offensively, sure, you can get away with just scoring 30 points and not playing that much defense. But if you want to win and you're not afforded the opportunity to play with that many defenders, you're going to have to play some sort of defense, or hope that your front office gets active and add some defenders.
Trae Young and Luka Doncic early in their careers is winning more than Steph Curry was in his. So it's just kind of like,
okay,
you could say that, but it's just like they winning enough right now. They get into the playoffs. Steph Curry Trae Young went to an Eastern Conference Finals game, so they winning enough. So that's what I'm saying. And they don't even have the pieces. So that's what I'm saying. Their offense is on that Hall of Fame level. And like, some players can't do what Trae Young and Luka Doncic can do because they are the engine. Not only are they scoring this, they're also getting other players buckets, facilitating the offense. So on a nightly basis, Trae and Luka Doncic, their offense is such a Hall of Fame level. they're producing 40 points probably a game.
Right.
Just themselves alone. But so it's just like expecting them to play defense. It's like, damn.
Well, all right.
Come on.
I mean, it is basketball. It is two sides of the court. It ain't too much to ask you to, go over a screen. Do something. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying though, I think Marcus Thompson came on and he mentioned too about Klay Thompson, how, before the championship run and all that, he wasn't that version of Klay Thompson that we know now. So eventually, again, it's going to take some sort of development of either the players that they have now or additions that they're going to have to make of adding defenders. I don't care how talented of a player you are, unless your name is LeBron James, you're going to need defensive pieces around you that can get stops.
Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter.
Right. Okay. And again, if it ends up being like a Klay Thompson thing where they develop into being great defenders, then all right, cool. I'm with you. But they're not just going to be where they are at now and, Trae still be, winning championships. Someone is going to have to play defense.
Allen Iverson was an underrated defender for most of his career. People don't give Allen Iverson respect he deserves.
He also had Dikembe Mutombo.
That's what I'm saying. He had those guys. That's what I'm saying. But it's just like his offense was that Hall of Fame where they said, we don't give a damn what we got to do. We going to build. Everybody else going to play defense, and we going to get the ball to Allen Iverson. And he led them to the finals. He may not have won it because he won up against one of the greatest teams of all time, but that just goes to show you that, it's certain players that is what I'm saying, Trae, Luka, Allen Iverson, offensively, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, playing defense.
What's one thing that 4 of the 5 players, I'm not even trying to be an asshole, I'm dead serious. What's one thing that 4 of the 5 players you just said have in common? 0 rings. So my point is, I'm not saying that they have to become Patrick Beverly. Okay, but either way, whether it's their fault or not, if they want to win, something is going to have to happen defensively. Whether it's them,
organization has to put pieces
that's why I
on.
said the front office. That's why I said maybe it's the front office.
But it is the front office. It ain't them. You're not gonna make Trae Young be an all NBA defender. That's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna make Luka Doncic be an all NBA defender. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna make James Harden be an all NBA. They may get better, like James Harden's. For the past several years, is a great poster. It's been one of the best post defenders in the league. You look at hustle stats. Luka Doncic in the post, he's very strong. He's getting better as well. Trae Young, he could use his length sometimes to poke balls away and kind of dissect the passing lanes and get steals. But I'm just saying, it's just that's it.
Right. And again, I'm not expecting them to be Pat Bev, but when you think about literally the greatest players of all time, naturally people tend to think of their offense. But Kobe, Mike, Bron, Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Hakeem, all these players were great defenders.
And all 6'8" and up.
Okay, but either way, there has to be some sort of defensive element. Even if it's not going to be from them individually, the players that you just named, Trae, Luka, Dame, whoever, the team is going to have to add something around them. Now, obviously, they themselves can't do anything about that, but I'm not going to sit and deny their offensive talent. But if we really want to say that they have a chance of winning chips, somebody's going to have to play some defense.
And they're going to have to be them. They're going to win championships without playing defense. Dirk Nowitzki won a championship being one of the worst defenders ever.
Did he not play with Tyson Chandler? A great,
that's what I'm saying.
Protector?
So that's what I'm saying. It's not you can't expect somebody to be producing 40 to 50 points on a nightly basis and be like, damn, you got to play defense too. And these guys aren't.
Did Michael Jordan not do that? Did Kobe Bryant not do that?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But they're all 6'8", 6'9", two-way ability, super athletic. We're talking about 2 guys. We're talking about 4 guys in Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and Stephen Curry. Okay. Athletically, it's not even there.
Okay, but again, you're mentioning the height and you're acting
that plays a part on defense.
I'm saying you're mentioning the height and the athletic as if I'm asking Trae to guard LeBron James. When you're 6, you're guarding the same position. So I'm not asking Trae to stop AD. I'm not asking Luka to get in the post and guard Embiid. Guard the players that you're guarding.
Sean Mary came on and said it in this last podcast. These guys aren't guarding their positions. The teams are doing schemes and stuff. So it's just kind of like Trae Young ain't never gonna be on you're not gonna see those matchups like we used to see Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade going head to head offense and defensively. That's not what we're seeing this era. I ain't never seen Trae Young guard a point guard in some years. I'm sorry. He's always on the worst offensive player on the team. And that's smart because when you have a Hall of Fame offensive weapon, you want him flowing, juiced up on the offensive side. That's just how it is.
Of course. I mean, I get it. I'm not
Right.
blind to it. You want to hire the guy on the defensive end so he can, conserve his energy to play offense. I completely understand
Some
it.
guys just have more responsibility on the offensive side, and you can't expect them to play defense like some of these other players. That's all I'm saying. Like,
but see, that's the phrase that I think my biggest problem is. Can't expect them to play defense, bro. You get paid millions of dollars. We want you to score 40. You know what I'm saying? Get numbers up, but damn it, slide your feet. Ain't nobody. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
them to be the engines on their team,
right?
And these guys aren't athletically gifted like some of these other athletic specimens in the league. And then you want them to play defense. It don't work.
But that's it. That's it. I'm not playing defense and asking someone to get 5 steals a game or shutting a player down. That's not what I'm asking.
Effort. Yeah, it's effort. It's just effort.
All right, my fault.
It's effort.
Put a little effort in. That's not a crazy task. Again, like I said, I'm not asking you to be a lockdown defender. I'm not asking you to make all defensive teams. But damn, is it a tough, request to let's try and, defend a little better. And again, I'm not even saying that it's a Trae or Luka thing. Again, I think Steph, as I said, to his credit, he's been able to play with a guy like Klay Thompson, with a guy like Draymond Green, with a Finals MVP and Andre Iguodala. But my thing is too, those are things that you can't control as a player,
Exactly.
So whether he likes it or not, Trae or Luka, whatever, whether the front office gives you better defensive players, you still got to get it done however you can. And again, they're both young, so ain't nobody throwing in the towel. But defensively, how many great two-way point guards has there been in like league history?
Not a lot. Gary Payton.
I mean, shout out GP.
Last guard. Last point guard ever.
That better not have been the last. That better not have been
last guard to ever win Defensive Player of the Year.
That better not have been the best.
Last point guard ever win Defensive Player of the Year was Gary.
Oh, all right, Chris Paul. I'll say Chris.
Chris Paul, yeah. Jason Kidd, yeah.
Jason Kidd. I mean, they're out there, but again, even that, like I said, I'm not asking for you to even be in the Defensive Player of the Year voting or even conversation. But I think if you're going to take that next jump, especially in the league we're in today, I know none of these guys will be guarding the KD or the Giannis or the LeBrons of the world, but, I do a little bit more than put the ball in the basket, man. And I don't know how we got here from talking about Devin Booker, LaVine, and Jimmy Butler.
Yes, officially, would you rather have, like, Jimmy Butler's offense and stuff like that? I mean, it is what it is. I mean
Book could definitely put the ball in the hoop, though. I mean, they all can. I think Devin Booker is probably the best scorer out of those three. I mean, being able to score at all levels. I mean, they all can. But Devin Booker is a scorer.
So exactly, man.
All right, but professional scorer. All right, there's...
Yeah. That's when the skill set comes.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's more skilled than those
Yeah.
Because he can score more easy without doing as much.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, there we go. That might have been where it came from, too, was the fact that, they have other players on their team that can defend at a high level. And you said something like, they might not have to. They might not have to defend.
Yeah. Certain guys just don't need to defend. I hate to say it, but it's just, I'll be honest. All
right, I can't. All right, so
90%
players, right?
90% of defense is effort. The other 10% is like naturally ability and guys that really like work on their craft defensively, where it comes to like doing drills, slides, feet wise, like agility, like body.
All right, so let me ask them, right?
A lot of it is like your makeup.
Those three guys, right, that we just named, right? They're all the best player on their team, you would say, right?
Yeah.
Of the last couple of Finals MVPs or championship teams, how many of these Finals MVPs were not terrific defenders? I'm trying to think.
Of course. Don't say the Bucks because Giannis is not.
No. See, that's why I said couple. I didn't just say of this past one. I just said in general.
Terrific.
So
I mean, Kawhi,
LeBron, KD,
and even KD is not like this great defender. He's gotten better over the course of his career, but KD ain't guarding nobody like that. Like he's not. Like he's more better, like kind of like rim protecting in a way.
When he's a solid rim protector.
We're going to say Warriors, but he's not really like guard. He can defend, but that's what I'm saying. It's just I think a lot of when it comes down to it, I think in the playoffs, you're going to see effort increases. And a lot of times the people that they say that are terrible defenders, when it comes to the playoffs, it's just kind of like the effort is always going to be given way more than the regular season. And it's just kind of like it's a marathon, not a sprint. And especially when these guys like want to win, when it's like, okay, it's really go time, then you're going to see Trae Young diving for a loose ball recovery. Then you're going to see Trae Young trying to get up hedge screens and get under screens at times and stuff like that. Then you're going to see Stephen Curry, because Stephen Curry is an underrated defender. He's not great, but he ain't the worst. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I seen Steph lock up a couple possessions, just like I seen Trae Young, contrary to popular belief, lock up, have some key possessions on the perimeter. So it's just kind of like defense is 90% effort, 10% skill, but I'm always going to give the edge to the guys that can put the ball in the basket. It is what it is, man.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
You talking about defense, and then you don't even like zone. Yeah, the defense.
What?
You want to be a defensive. You want to be a defensive. You want to be a defensive champion.
I thought you said Zoe. I thought you said Zoe as in Lonzo.
No,
man, the hell with zone, man. That shit is weak. That shit is, and again, I understand from a winning standpoint why it gets played. You want to make adjustments. I don't want to hear that. Lock up. Go man, play man-to-man defense, and get it done. Very, very simple. That zone shit is weak.
You can't say that when defensive players of the years ain't guarding.
What that got to do with anything? That has nothing to do with playing zone.
Yes, it does, because it's all about in today's game. It's now about like the team aspect, and team defense is more so like a focal point than actually guarding. Like it's like me, I consider defense guarding. But the people that are voting on these awards, the people that are kind of like scheming these defensive units and stuff, they don't really care about can you really lock up on the perimeter. Now it's like team-oriented defense is more important in today's game. So that's why we see, and that's why the defensive analytics come and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like zoning is a part of scheming now. Matchup zone, going to 2.
Okay, and that's
2-3
fine.
Times.
That's fine too. Listen, someone could literally make a PowerPoint presentation for all I care, showing me why all this stuff works numbers-wise. I still would not give a damn. Okay, like we're here to play basketball. We're here to play basketball. You should be guarding man to man. I don't need. Again, like I said, I'm sure, right? Cases can be made that it works out better when we play this. Teams can't score against it. All these different reasons, but I do not give two shits. Play man-to-man defense. I don't know how many times I have to say this. That shit is weak. It is. I promise you it is. Like, it has to stop. The league should literally just say, hey, guys. Hey, guys. We got to stop playing zone. That's so weak, bro. I told you, that's like computer defense, man. That's weak. That's not, come on, man. That is trash. As a coach, as a player, as a fan, whatever. That shit has to stop, man. That shit is so trash. I don't even get mad at multiple, certain things that happen in a basketball game. Like, perfect example, right? If you got the ball, right, and you call for a screen, like, yo, come set this screen, I wouldn't get mad at that. Most hoopers are like, yo, I don't need no screen to score. But I get it. You might be a facilitating point guard that wants to, get a screen and get active. I'm not mad at that. But zone, there's no reason in the world for me to feel comfortable with a team and like, yo, go 2-3. What are we doing? Like, lock up. Please. That's not too much to ask.
It's a new day. It's a new game. That's what I'm saying. It's team defensive concepts and team defensive units that they're throwing out. That's why we got guys winning Defensive Player of the Year awards and not guarding. So it's just like it is what it is, It is what it is. They can't, ain't nothing to do about it. I can't get mad. That's the game changed, bro.
I'm even in favor of, like Sean Marion mentioned the whole, guarding who guards you, guarding your position. But I get that sometimes, there's cross matches. Even that is something I would say, all right, I understand, right? Cool. That's adjustments. It is what it is. But even that ain't as bad as playing zone. Even that ain't as bad as like, all right, hey guys, we can't guard these gentlemen when we play them 1 versus 1. So let's all team up. And
the league is more talented in today's game. Like Steph Curry wasn't shooting in the 70s, 80s, bro. So you got to be a little bit more creative. Giannis is a 7-foot chat when it comes to the first level on the basketball court. Like, it's just like, yo, he can't shoot the ball that well. So it's just kind of like, and he brings the ball up. Like, it's a lot of freaking natures in the game today that just wasn't in the past. So it causes teams to be more creative. That's all I'm saying. That's why we have more box and ones and more zones and stuff like that. And like defensive coverages are a little bit more advanced compared to in the past when you just got guys that's like no disrespect to the 90s and Michael Jordan's era. But Michael Jordan was so far the most superior two-way player. And then he had the second best, the perimeter defender, first best perimeter defender on his team. No, actually, it was Dennis Rodman, it was Scottie Pippen, and it was Michael Jordan. They had the three best perimeter defenders on the same team. And then if you look at for guarding wise, like the guard position wasn't the point guard and shooter guard. Like it was guys that can hoop. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't like it is today. It's just like, damn, like come on, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Things have got a little bit more advanced, bro. We gotta keep it real.
Look. What I'm saying is I'm not anti. Look. I'm anti-zone defense, but that doesn't mean I'm anti-help defense. I'm not saying that your team should expect you to guard Kevin Durant or Giannis by yourself. Say, hey, you got him. It's all on you now. A lot of people like the mentality of building a wall when you play with Giannis. I'm with that. It should not just be a mono versus mono thing because you're never going to win if that's the case. But I'm just saying don't be in a position where no one is technically guarding one individual. That shit is weak. You should always, have your eyes focused on the best player on the court, but like don't treat it as if it's like, all right, let's zone it up. No.
Do you like? And this is the last one before we get into cap or no cap, because you capping a lot right now.
No. I believe everything I'm saying. I believe every single thing I'm saying. That shit is trash.
What is pressing to you? Because that's a zone, Theus.
Okay, I got you.
So if you don't like zone D, pressing is a zone, Theus.
Okay.
Two men at the top, one in the center, and kind of like making them get to the corners.
To me, it all depends on what type of press it is. That's one. And to me, press is literally pressure. Pressure like you attacking the offense instead of you waiting back. No. Zone, half-court zone, depending on what it is, it's 2-3. You're waiting. Right. For the most part, most zones, depending on what the zone is, you're not about to see no real trap in the NBA when it comes to 2-3 zone. That doesn't happen. But for the most part, most 2-3 zones are sitting back and waiting and letting you set up the clock by swinging the ball around. But if it's a press, that's you saying, yo, I'm going to speed you up. I'm going to attack you, even if you do have the basketball. I understand that. You know what I'm saying?
It's still guys in certain spots, though.
Well, right, and it is certain guys in different spots, but at least you're taking the initiative, right? At least you're switching. I'm with you. That's a very good question. It's a very good question. But at least you're applying pressure. You're not sitting here saying like, all right, we can't do anything else. So let's watch them. You know what I'm saying? Because most times, let's be real, most people that go zone, it is in a result of because you can't stop them because you're going man. That's really what it is. It ain't just a simple, okay, the numbers aren't our favor. It's more of like, yo, we can't guard them, so let's go zone. But at least in a press, you making a statement. You saying like, yo, we about to run it up. We're about to get the ball back before you even cross half court. That's the way I look at it. Now, again, I know there's different types of presses as well as different types of zones. But for the most part, right, you're not really pressing just to take time off the clock. It should be, in my opinion, yo, we trying to get the ball back and score. We trying to turn defense into offense. It ain't just, let's milk the clock and then just see where we're going with. It's, we run it up. That's just the way I see it. But yeah, zone is clipped.
You got a cap or no cap?
Yeah, cap or no cap. I already asked my Khris Middleton question. So, I mean, I should ask this. I mean, we didn't talk about the team at all in this episode. Cap or no cap, Cade Cunningham will still win Rookie of the Year.
Cap.
You said that pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Do I dare ask why?
Cade is still adjusting to the NBA. He's still a special talent. But it's some guys. Scotty Barnes is here. Like, he's here. Like he's unstable. I'm about to use my favorite word. I'm about to use my favorite word. He's a disciple, and I'm about to give credit. I didn't think we
To who?
I didn't think
To who?
I didn't think we were going to see his disciples this early because he's still young himself. But it's like he got some Giannis in him, bro. Like,
All right.
yo, the strength, the power, the unstoppable at the like. If he get to that first level on the basketball court, and he don't even got no moves yet, handle wise, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bro. He's a man child. Like, he's here. I think he's here, bro. Like, what is that? Like 16 and 9 right now.
So I asked about K Cunningham and when we're gonna hear, and you mentioned Scotty Barnes.
That's why.
No,
that's why.
Right. And I'm not mad at it, but does this ultimately mean, Ahmad, that you're saying that your man's Jalen Green won't be winning? Is that your pick?
I don't think Jalen Green is gonna win because I don't think.
Wow.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell going on in Houston.
Houston will be. What expectation did you really have for Houston before the year? In your personal opinion, what did you think they were going to do?
I thought they were going to be fun to watch. I don't even know if they're fun to watch.
They're not?
I don't even, bro.
Come on.
Because
don't say just because they're losing mean they're not fun to watch.
It's not because they're losing. Because I don't, bro. I'm looking at things and I just don't like. I just say certain things I just don't like. The whole like Kevin Porter Jr. I'm sorry, like he has some James Harden in him. That's he's very similar. Create off the dribble, can pass a little bit, can score, but he's not a point guard. And they're trying to make him a point guard. And it's not happening. And that's killing the Houston Rockets right now, to me. And that's also, I think, hurting Jalen Green as well. Because Jalen Green can play off the ball, but it's just like if you don't have a point guard that's like getting him some easier looks, you're conditioning him to basically, for the first few years of his career, he's going to have to be getting difficult shots and make tough and difficult shots all the time. And it's just kind of like, that's not what you want to do because you can start creating like, bad, things in a player's game. Bad habits is in a player's game by constantly doing that. So that's my issue with Houston Rockets. But cap for K Cunningham, I think Scotty Barnes is, as of right now.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Yeah, but I say he's, But as we said before earlier in the episode, it's still early. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on K.
Yeah, it's still early. Yeah.
We'll see. It's still early. But all right, y'all. No pump fakes. We out.
It's your boy, AK Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.